Welcome back to the channel for another video. Today we're back in the seat and of course we're talking about Wrexham Football Club. Today I've got a video I sort of do every year in the summer and the January transfer window. Today I'm going to be bringing you 5 players I think Wrexham should sign in the upcoming January transfer window. We've got a whole host of different players, so before we get going in today's video, if you would like to see more Wrexham AFC content, make sure to get down there and click the red subscribe button. You've smashed the support recently, so I cannot thank you enough for that. And yeah, without further ado, let's get talking about 5 players I would like to see a sign in the transfer window. Starting off with quite a predictable one, I've gone for Lo-Tutala. Of course, we saw the rumours of him being at the racecourse ground the other day to possibly sign for Wrexham on a loan move in January, but I think this would be a signing that I would very much like to see, and a lot of other Wrexham fans would like to see, especially after the recent events regarding our first and second choice goalkeeper Arthur Okonkwo and Callum Burton both sustaining injuries. You know, Okonkwo is going to be out for at least another month. Burton is out for the rest of the season, so we're going to need that cover in the goalkeeper spot, and I think Lo-Tutala could do more than a job there. Now, Lo-Tutala is actually out of favour at the minute at Hull City, despite coming off the back of a really impressive loan spell in League 2 last season for Doncaster Rovers, where, if you remember, we were in League 2 last year, so we all had a close eye on Doncaster. They narrowly missed out on promotion in the playoff semi-finals. He had a really good season, proving to be one of the best young and upcoming goalkeepers in the EFL. In that short loan spell he had at Doncaster, but since returning to Hull, Lo-Tutala has not played a game, obviously, since that playoff semi-final loss, so he'll definitely, no doubtedly, be seeking a move elsewhere in the January transfer window, and it looks like Wrexham are favourites to sign him. Now, if we're talking a bit more on Lo-Tutala, he's only actually played 27 professional games in his career, but for such a young goalkeeper at such a young age, he's adapted so well to the men's game and the professional game, keeping 11 clean sheets in all of the games he has played in his professional career. Like I said, proven to be one of the best goalkeepers in League 2 last season and having such an effective role in such a short amount of time. So, you know, he showed some promising signs, and I think he is ready for that next step to possibly compete for the number 1 at a higher up team. Obviously, with the news that we've heard regarding Callum Burton and Arthur Okonkwo being out for a long period of time, I think we're going to need that replacement in no matter what. I think even if it was just Okonkwo injured, I think we possibly would have needed another goalkeeper. So adding in one to the list is going to do us no harm at all, and I think, you know, it will be a main target for Parky in January to bring in another goalkeeper, because as things stand, we've got Mark Howard, we've got Brad Foster, we've got Liam Hall, but I would like to see us bring someone sort of with a bit more experience. Okay, Lo-Tutala's 21 years old, but he does carry that experience in League 2 on 2 different occasions, so I would like to see us bring in someone who has gained that experience and has that quality in the league already. Of course, Lo-Tutala is a very good shot stopper, and when he played against us, when we made the trip to Yorkshire for our away trip to Doncaster Rovers, he looked comfortable with the ball at his feet, and like I said, with him being at such a young age, he looks so confident and so natural, playing in such a physically demanding league. So Lo-Tutala is one I would like to see a sign. Second player is Joe Morrell. Now, you might remember from the previous videos, Morrell is a player I would love to see a sign, and nothing has changed since the summer. I would still like to see Wrexham go in for Joe Morrell. For months and months on end, I've been wanting this Welsh wizard in midfield to make the switch up to North Wales, and this isn't just because I like him. I genuinely think he would be such a good addition to this squad. He would add valuable, you know, experience to this team, and with 1 or 2 midfielders possibly leaving in the January transfer window, bringing in Morrell would be such a good bit of business, considering his experience in different scenarios, and with Wrexham pushing for that, you know, automatic promotion to the Championship. Morrell has been there before. Morrell has been in these big situations, so adding him to the midfield alongside the likes of Dobson, Matty James, Andy Cannon, Ollie Rathbone would just only improve the quality and, you know, give us that better chance of gaining promotion. Morrell has actually been without a club since leaving Portsmouth in the summer, but I think he is actually doing his rehab there. Of course, he suffered that quite nasty injury in the January period, so he's been doing his rehab at Portsmouth, but he's not actually contracted, so he is a free agent. So if Wrexham were to go in for him, a transfer fee would not be required, it would just be the wages. I think there's a slight chance that Morrell might not be fully fit in terms of, you know, getting back to full fitness, hence why, you know, he hasn't obviously signed for that club. So I think whenever he is back fully fit, and if that is now, I think Wrexham should be very closely monitoring the situation regarding Joe Morrell, and he even said himself on a BBC Sport Wales interview that he would be willing to join Wrexham. Please, can we get Joe Morrell in? It's not like he's an injury prone player, it's just one nasty injury that he's had. And, you know, all the previous experience he's had in the League One, in League Two, and of course international level is going to add up and will have a massive benefit on this squad. If we're looking at the type of player Joe Morrell is, he's energetic. Yes, he's got a yellow card to his name here and there, but he's good on the ball and carries a lot of experience to his name, and I think his quality on the ball, his movement, his just engine in that midfield could be such a good addition to this team. Yeah, I've got down here as well, when he's back to full fitness, I don't think he'll be short of offers at all. I'm sure he's had plenty of League One and a couple of Championship offers, but it's a question as to whether when Joe Morrell is ready to get back playing, of course he might not be there yet, but I think we're near enough there for Joe Morrell in terms of getting back to full fitness and signing for a club. He's got nearly 200 EFL appearances to his name, 37 caps for Wales, 4 of those coming in Euro 2020 and 2 coming in the Qatar World Cup. He's gained experience on the big stage, and at just 27 years old, carrying all that experience on his back is massive. And I think, alongside that experience, there is a very good player in Joe Morrell, and one that I think could be a very good addition, especially on a free to this team. Moving on to the third player now, it's Will Lankshear. We're talking about strikers now. This could be a long shot, but I definitely wouldn't rule it out at all. Lankshear's become somewhat of a consistent member of the Tottenham matchday squad, whether that be in the Premier League or in the Europa League under Ange Postecoglou. He even scored his first goal for Tottenham Hotspur in the Europa League away at Galatasaray a few weeks back, and at just 19 years old, Lankshear has shown some massive signs. And you might remember us talking about Lankshear in the summer when we were linked with him, and I still do think there's a chance we could sign him now, despite him being a regular in the matchday squad in the Premier League. I think a loan move could really suit Lankshear because, like I said, he's been a consistent member of the squad, but he's only actually featured in 1 Premier League game for Tottenham. He's been somewhat of a regular in Europe for Spurs, but I think a loan move now could be very beneficial in terms of his career and in terms of getting game time ahead of next season, because it's clear Ange Postecoglou sees him as a player that could be built up if he gains that experience and be Tottenham's next striker. So I think he would massively fit the bill in terms of what we need at Wrexham, and would suit hugely what we are after at the minute in terms of a striker. And like I said, it's clear he'll be a Spurs player for years and years to come. So a loan move to Wrexham, and especially in League One at the top end, could be a big stepping stone in his career. I think it's important to note as well, Lankshear was a very prolific striker at youth level last season in the 23-24 season, scoring 32 goals in 35 games and deservedly getting a first team call up. Ange Postecoglou was watching him closely last season, and of course, like I said, he's been rewarded by those appearances in the Premier League and in the Europa League. He's got a good eye for goal, he's clinical, and would just be full of running. Like I said, at 19 years old, you're going to get a striker that's hungry, wanting to make a lasting impression, and he's done that for Tottenham. And it's a question now as to whether, if he wants to go out, seek that regular game time at such a high level, of course, in League One for Wrexham. The demand is high at Wrexham Football Club, and I think he would suit this setup at Wrexham, and it would be such a good experience for him to come in and hopefully score a couple of goals and become a regular for us. And his movement as well, I was watching his movement on some highlights. He looks like an experienced striker, the way he moves in the box, just his awareness, and to be there in the right time to put the ball in the back of net. I think he showed some very good signs, and I would be very happy if we were able to pull this one off. I think it's a long shot, it would take a lot of hard work, and it's definitely not impossible, but never say never with Wrexham. Moving on to the fourth option now, Nathan Lowe. Now, a name you might not have been expecting on this list, but he's a young striker that is currently tearing it up in League Two for Walsall, who currently sit top of the league, and at just 19 years old, Nathan Lowe has 12 goals in 22 games in all competitions. He's the joint second top scorer in League Two, like I said, as the Saddlers sit top of League Two. He's currently on loan from Stoke City in the Championship, but if Wrexham were to put an interest in Nathan Lowe, I don't think there'd be an issue at all in Stoke recalling him from, a League Two side and loaning him out to a team that's pushing for promotion to the Championship. I think, like I said, Nathan Lowe will want to have that big step up in his career, and, Stoke will want to test him as much as possible. Although he's on good, rich vein of form at Walsall, I think if Wrexham did come knocking, and it's got to this point where Wrexham are sort of seen as the big deal now, which is crazy to say, but I think if Wrexham come knocking on a loan move, I don't think Stoke City could say no. And I think as well it'd be very beneficial for Nathan Lowe to take that step up to League One, because like I said, he's a confident player, he's so confident, and I'll get on to why further on in this segment. But it's a rogue shout in this. You might not have expected me to bring up a loanee striker that's just 19 years old, but for such a young striker tearing it up in such a physically demanding league, is very rare to find, and I think, you know, you won't find, like I said, many strikers that at such a young age that are consistently scoring goals and just proving to be a massive nuisance at that level. Yeah, and there's a lot of rumours and a lot of people going around saying we're going to splash the cash on a striker in the January transfer window. If this was the striker that we're going to spend a lot of money on, it is a risk. Like I said, he's 19 years old, he's only got 12 career goals to his name, but he's a youngster with very, very high potential, and a player that his price tag will only just rise and rise and rise if his form does continue in a Walsall shirt. So if we are going to want to go in for him, and if Parky sees him as a striker that he could develop into a regular player up front for Wrexham, then I think now is definitely the time to get him, whether that be on a permanent or on a loan move. I think Parky would prefer the permanent deal. His confidence as well, he has just got bags and bags of confidence. He missed a penalty against Huddersfield earlier on in this season in the Carabao Cup, but he bounced back by scoring 2 goals. You know, just his ability, you know, like I said, young players in that situation would probably let their head drop and it would affect their performance late on, but you know, just watching the highlights, he is such a physically imposing striker. He makes the runs, he's big as well, he takes the penalties, he's not afraid to just take the team by the scruff of the neck and lead the line really well for Walsall. And you know, his eye for goal is brilliant, and someone who I think could really develop and would really suit this setup at Wrexham. The price tag for Nathan Lowe would probably be big, and it would probably be better if we opted for the Lowe move, but again, he's a very, very striker in hot demand, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of clubs looking to sign him in the January transfer window, but Nathan Lowe is one I would like to see signed for Wrexham. Finishing off now with the final player, the player that I would love to see Wrexham sign the most, it is Joe Taylor, a striker whose potential is being massively wasted at Championship side Luton Town. He's a young Welsh striker, like I said, playing in the Championship for the Hatters, where he's only played 129 minutes across 9 games, with only 4 registered strikers at Luton Town at the minute. He must be fuming that he's not getting regular minutes, because he's had the loan spells, he's come back to Luton Town expecting probably to be a regular in the first team, but like I said, with him only having 4 registered strikers, which is a very low amount for an EFL team, he's not getting any minutes, and I'm sure he'll be seeking that move out of the club in January. Yeah, and if we're talking about Joe Taylor's history now, he's had 2 very good loan spells, one in League 1 for Lincoln City and one in League 2 for Colchester United. Across the 46 games he's played over those 2 loan spells, he scored 22 goals. You know, he's been clinical in those 2 loan spells he's got, and I'm sure he'll have wanted to go back to Luton Town to get the regular minutes and to sort of, you know, prove to the Luton Town fans that he can do it at a high level. And you know, that was probably the next step from going from League 2 to League 1 now to the Championship. But I'm not sure what Rob Edwards said to Joe Taylor in the summer, and I'm sure he'd have wanted to move away in the summer if he was told that he was going to only play 129 minutes by the mid-December period. I'm sure he'd have wanted that move away for consistent game time, and I think he will be looking to get that regular game time in the January transfer window. And he is a player I really like, and I'm sure Wrexham fans can agree with me on this one. I would like to see him come to Wrexham. He's sort of a terrier up front, and he's exactly what we need, full of energy. He's a proven goal scorer as well. Yes, he can run, but he can score goals. He's always there in the right position, and you can get a striker in Joe Taylor that will always work hard for the badge on his shirt. And again, he's Welsh, and I would love a Welsh striker to come to Wrexham to succeed, and Taylor could definitely be the one that we could be after. Taylor, of course, was linked with a couple of League 1 clubs in the transfer window in the summer, but didn't actually make the move, so I'm sure there was probably some sort of promise made by Rob Edwards that he was going to be a regular in the first team. And yes, he's a regular in the first team squad, but his minutes have been massively limited this season, and you know, I think a permanent move for Taylor to Wrexham could be very, very possible. I do believe we've got the funding to go out and sign Joe Taylor. Do I think it will take a lot for him to drop down to a team that are pushing for promotion back up to the Championship? Not at all, and especially if he's going to come in and be a regular in the starting lineup. You can have 13,000 fans behind your back every single week. We know the type of player he'd be in a Wrexham shirt. He would give it his all, and yeah, I would love to see this signing happen, and I don't even think Luton would be that adamant in letting Joe Taylor go, but if they are, I'm sure we could tempt them with the bright price tag, and it would be a great investment for the future, with Taylor just being 22 years old. So yeah, that is it for today's video. If you did enjoy, make sure to drop a like. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. One player you would like to see signed for Wrexham Football Club in the January transfer window. Would you target a goalkeeper? Would you target a striker? Would you target any other position? Didn't actually pick a defender because I think we are really sorted when it comes to defensive options. So yeah, like I said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you did enjoy, like I said, make sure to subscribe, like, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you in another video. Take care, guys. Up the town.